Donald Trump is threatening to pull the United States of America out of the NATO alliance. On top of that, today he threatened to nuke Iran. We're also guaranteed putting boots on the ground. It is the only way to take Karg Island. Trump was even asked. He was like, what is there? Are you afraid that this will turn into another Vietnam? And he said, I'm not afraid of anything. That's his genuine reaction to it. We also dropped 5,000-pound bombs on the coast of Iran this morning. I didn't even know that we had 5,000-pound bombs, because just so you can understand, for a comparison here, Joe Biden, who proudly funded the Israeli genocide of the Gazans, even he refused to give Israel 2,000-pound bombs. He was like, nah, I know what you're going to do with those. So now, I mean, the axis of Epstein is quite literally moving like Adolf fucking Hitler, bro. 5,000-pound bombs, primarily being dropped on fucking civilians. The overwhelming majority of the people that we have killed in Iran have been civilians. Thousands of them, women and children. We're barely touching their fucking drone manufacturing because we don't know where it is. If you're confused about like we keep on saying, Trump's like, we destroyed the Iranian Air Force. It's like, sure, you got rid of their jets, but this is modern warfare, dog. Jets are obsolete. Modern warfare is drones and cyber attacks. That's modern warfare. And the fucking Iranians, they've got these secret facilities scattered throughout their mountain fortress of a fucking nation where it looks like a fucking piece of sand opens up in the desert and out comes a Shahed drone and then it closes back down. Like, I'm starting to think that the Iranians have an underground that looks like fucking Speranza. Shout out Arc Raiders. But like, dead ass. So we can't even... We don't even know how to stop them. And the Iranians are making more drones than they know what to do with. They're literally manufacturing these drones faster than they're firing them. They have a virtually unlimited supply of the drones, which costs like $20,000 to make, and it costs us over $1.6 million to shoot a single one down if we even hit it. Oftentimes we'll fire a $1.6 million interceptor at that fucking drone and it won't even hit its target. $1.6 million just thrown out the fucking window. It's crazy. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Before we do dive in, I want to just say hi. How are you? I'm Chris Valenti. This is the Valenti VOD. My fucking chair is sinking because I have a fucking hydraulic leak and I hate it. I'm gonna Brian Kilmeade. That's what I'm saying here. This is real independent media. Now, there are a lot of motherfuckers out there who have YouTube channels and they will lie to your fucking face and call themselves independent media. I'm not naming any names. I am gonna name names. You know exactly who the fuck you are. Tim Pool, Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk. Like, these motherfuckers pretended like they were independent media. Okay, and they're not. They are online media, and you know that they are online media and not independent media because they do ad reads. They have sponsors, you know, they have advertisers, right? So I don't do that. I have no ads. I have no sponsors. I have the regular YouTube AdSense revenue that you couldn't even turn off if you fucking wanted, right? So I don't do that shit. That's why you know that what I'm telling you is my genuine fucking opinion. I'm telling you the fucking truth here. So if you do want to support me financially, you could do what Lele Loudmouth just did, and you can click the thanks button down below to tip me directly, okay? You can also go down below to buy merch. Like we got posters, we got mugs, we got hoodies, we got hats, we got stickers, we got all that shit, okay? That's down below. You can click the join button down below to become a member for $5. That'll give you access to the member-only content and some pretty cool emotes, like the emotes of Luigi. And then other than that, you can become a patron on Patreon. It is very important that you become a patron on Patreon, even if you become an unpaid patron, or you don't have to pay money. But in case this platform ever gets nuked, you'll be able to find me on Patreon. Other than that, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That costs you fuck all, and it helps me immensely, especially because this YouTube algorithm fucking despises me. I don't even know if the notification bell works. Like, the YouTube algorithm genuinely fucking despises me. I got 11 copyright violations in one fucking day the other day. So, you know, maybe it's because I'm a dissident of the fucking Fuhrer and we're in wartime. And, you know, in times of war, freedom is usually fucking prohibited. Guys, y'all are spamming emotes and on the screen. One of these days, I gotta fix this. I gotta make this actually show the emotes because it just says, like, the code for the emotes. We got to figure out how to do that. I got to figure out how to do that one of these days. All right. Without further ado, let's just dive right in. First thing I want to show you is Donald Trump talking about pulling us out of NATO without congressional approval. Now, readers did add context for this. Section 125OA of the FY 2024 NDAA, whatever fucking gibberish legal jargon legalese, prohibits the president from withdrawing the U.S. from NATO without 2/3 Senate supermajority or an act of Congress. So he is blatantly incorrect, but you got to hear it from the fucking pedophile's mouth.
Are you rethinking the United States' relationship with NATO possibly getting out?
Well, I'm disappointed in NATO that we spend trillions of dollars on NATO. Think of it, trillions over the years, many trillions of dollars. It's one of the reasons we have deficits and we help other countries. And when they don't help us, I mean, it's certainly something that we should think about. I don't need Congress for that decision, as you
Wrong.
probably know. I can make that decision myself. I'd work with some very smart people. And I'd always deal with Congress anyway. But
Bro, you don't need Congress for fucking anything, bro. Congress is moot. Like, motherfucker, you don't need Congress for shit, apparently. Why the fuck do we even have Congress? Motherfucker, you don't give a shit. You don't even give a fuck about the Supreme Court. Don't forget, the Supreme Court has ruled multiple times against him, and he just ignores it entirely. And this is because there is no authoritative body for the Supreme Court or Congress. Congress or the Supreme Court can impeach the motherfucker. They could rule that everything he's doing is illegal and he should be arrested. And yet they couldn't arrest him because Secret Service, they'll fight to the last man, bro. Like, literally, they'll just fucking kill you. You cannot touch the president of the United States, especially because the Supreme Court already ruled that literally nothing he can do is illegal, as long as it's an official act of the president. Meaning, and this is real, they confirmed this on video during the Supreme Court case, Donald Trump could literally murder somebody, and as long as it's an official presidential action, he will never face the consequences for it. What does OAL stand for? It stands for the Only Americans Left. There was a lot of different people in this chat. I'm a socialist. I'm sure there's a couple of liberals here. I'm sure there's a couple of fucking anarchists here. I'm sure there's libertarians. I'm sure there's even a fucking Republican. As long as you understand that Donald J. Trump is a fascist and a threat to democracy, you are welcome in the OAL, okay? Now, I'm going to do my best to convert you to socialism, but as long as you understand this pedophile piece of shit is a threat to democracy, you're welcome here.
smart people. And I'd always deal with Congress anyway, but I don't need Congress for that decision. But, you know, when you say rethink, I have nothing currently in mind, but I will say that I'm not exactly thrilled when we help them with Ukraine. Look, Ukraine would have been over in one day if we didn't help. Frankly, Ukraine would have been over in the first day. They had the best equipment in the world. It was our equipment.
All right, so there's the president of the United States threatening to pull the United States out of the world's strongest alliance, essentially making all of our former allies adversaries. And just so you know, that would immediately make them all turn to China as the world's superpower. They would swap the US dollar with the Chinese yuan as the world reserve currency. That would literally be the complete and total destruction of the global economy. That is what he is threatening. All right. Got a Truth Social post on him. This is when Trump is threatening to nuke Iran. I wonder what would happen if we finished off what's left of the Iranian terror state and let the countries that use it, we don't, be responsible for the so-called Strait. That would get some of our non-responsive allies in gear and fast, President DJT. Please do not fool yourself into thinking that this is anything other than a nuclear threat. The only way that you could, in one strike, just finish off Iran is to fire multiple nuclear weapons at them. Multiple. What, you think one is going to do it? It's a mountain fortress with 93 million people in it. You'd have to fucking nuke the entire goddamn country relentlessly over and over again. And he's saying that we don't use the Strait. Brother, the Strait of Hormuz has 20% of the world's oil flows through it, bro. That would affect the and it has affected the global oil market. It doesn't matter whether you get your oil from the Strait. It will still change the prices of a barrel of oil, you stupid fuck. This is like if you were, I don't know, if you were growing soybeans, right? And you were like, hey, we grow our own soybeans. We don't need the soybeans from that area. But if that area has a fuckload of soybeans and suddenly they all die, now the price, the value of soybeans has changed. It doesn't matter whether you fucking use it or not, you stupid fat fascist. Oh my God. All right. Now we got news about the 5,000-pound bombs. This is from U.S. Central Command.
Hours ago, U.S. forces successfully employed multiple 5,000-pound deep penetrator munitions on hardened Iranian missile sites along Iran's coastline near the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian anti-ship cruise missiles in these sites posed a risk to international shipping in the strait.
So guys, I need you to understand. That doesn't matter, bro. You could take out their fucking missiles. You're not touching their drones. You're not touching their drone manufacturing. What the fuck do you think they've been firing for the past 20 days? Shahed drones, man. You only need one of them to hit one of our fucking warships and you'd have a catastrophe on your hands, let alone an oil tanker. An oil tanker? Hey, buddy, you know oil is flammable, right? You fucking jackasses. Oh my God. So literally this whole post is like, hey, guess what? We dropped multiple 5,000-pound bombs and accomplished nothing. U.S. deploys bunker busters in the Hormuz strike. U.S. CENTCOM confirmed that multiple 5,000-pound deep penetrator bombs were used against the hardened Iranian missile positions along the Strait of Hormuz. These sites allegedly stored and deployed anti-ship cruise missiles that threatened commercial shipping in one of the world's most vital energy corridors. The operation, carried out by B-1B Lancer bombers, marks one of the most forceful U.S. interventions in the conflict so far. So I hope you understand that what this is going to lead to is the Iranians mining the ever-loving fuck out of the Strait of Hormuz. And I don't mean mine like Minecraft, you stupid gooner. I mean laying mines in the fucking water. And on top of that, they're just gonna fucking target the entire strait with their drones. This isn't going to accomplish literally fucking anything. All right, I do want to show you this. This is one of the most disturbing and demonic fucking things I've ever read. This is from Haaretz, which is an actual Israeli newspaper. So this is what the Israelis are willing to admit on their own. Wow. It literally won't even let me fucking... This is a report from an Israeli commander. All right. Opinion. When you leave Israel and enter Gaza, you are God, inside the minds of IDF rat men who commit war crimes. Listen to this. Quote, a new commander came to us. We went out with him on the first patrol at 6 in the morning. He stops. There's not a soul in the streets, just a little 4-year-old boy playing in the sand in his yard. The commander suddenly starts running, grabs the boy, and breaks his arm at the elbow and his leg here. Stepped on his stomach 3 times and left. We all stood there with our mouths open, looking at him in shock. I asked the commander, what's your story? He told me, these kids need to be killed from the day they are born. When a commander does that, it becomes legit. And he's right. When a commander does that, it legitimizes his ground troops, his little privates and corporals to do that too. So people wonder why I genuinely despise all Israelis. This is why. It's not because Benjamin Netanyahu is the one responsible for this. No, it is 70 to 90% of the Israeli population who vehemently supports the genocide in Gaza and vehemently supports America sending its boys and girls to go fight and die in Iran at the behest of the Israelis. So yeah, no, I consider them to be fucking rat people, and I will never apologize for that. Fuck Israel and fuck Israelis. All right, now we're going to watch the we're going to watch the Mexican gay Nazi. This is a closeted homosexual twink. He's also a Mexican that role plays as a white supremacist. We're going to watch him, Nick Fuentes, abandon Trump entirely, and in fact saying that he needs to be impeached for treason. Guys, you know that the Trump regime is failing miserably when even the fucking Nazis are getting tired of him. Listen to this shit. I'm gonna speed him up because I hate watching this motherfucker speak.
So you always thought that your own nominee to be the director of the Counterterrorism Center?
So he's talking about Joe Kent. If you don't know this, Joe Kent, who is the head of counterterrorism here in the United States, he resigned and he cited Trump's illegal and offensive war in Iran at the behest of Israel for his reasoning to resign.
Was bad on security. So why then did you appoint him in the first place? That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, that's something we're going to talk about. Nick is right here. Trump said that he always thought that Joe Kent was soft on terror. And what's her fucking name? Caroline No Lip Levitt. She was like, yeah, no, Joe Kent was terrible at his job. And so it's like a lose-lose, because it's like, then why the fuck did you hire him? If you always thought he was weak. By the way, fucking this guy, Joe Kent, is like one of the most racist, anti-Semitic motherfuckers out there, okay? He's like a proud white supremacist. So he was already disqualified, but you know, you're all fucking white supremacists, so I don't blame you for picking him. But it's a lose-lose. You're saying, why the fuck would you hire him then?
And see, this is where you got to say about Trump, I'm done with this guy. Are you kidding me? So Joe Kent, by the way, is totally correct about this. This is a complete break from America First foreign policy. And that is why people signed up. This is why people voted in 2016, 2020, and 2024. There are a lot of people that voted 3 times because of this.
No, they voted for Trump 3 times because they are retards. Anybody who voted for Trump 3 times is genuinely like unfit to breathe. You're so fucking stupid, I wouldn't trust you with a pencil.
Because they wanted an end to the endless wars, specifically in the Middle East. Not in Cambodia, not in Congo, not in Pakistan, but in the Middle East. And these Israel-driven wars against Israel's enemies. People voted 3 times because they wanted Americans to stop dying in Syria, Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and elsewhere.
No, they voted 3 times for Donald Trump because they wanted to see the largest mass deportation campaign in American history. And people like me were warning you. I hope you understand that comes with a Nazi Gestapo force patrolling the streets, rounding people up and sending them to concentration camps. I was saying that shit since way before, like, Trump was guaranteed going to win the election. Because, guys, there's no other way to deport between 20 and 30 million people without having a Gestapo force in concentration camps, unless you're so stupid that you think you can detain somebody and deport them the exact same fucking day. You can't do that. You could detain somebody and execute them the exact same day, which is what we are going to start to do.
And Trump has obviously broken with that, as he has plunged America into a war of choice, a war of aggression.
Chatter just said, Valenti, Bibi Netanyahu is in a coma. Do you have any confirmation of this, or are you just talking out of your fucking ass?
Something that was totally unnecessary. It's not a preemptive strike because it didn't preempt anything. It wasn't in self-defense because we were never attacked. It wasn't about securing a vital American interest because it's hard to parse what interest is outweighed by a regime change war in a mountainous country 3 times the size of Iraq with a population of 90 million. So Joe Kent is correct. You broke your promise. You betrayed America first. Consequently, he's stepping down. And what does Trump say? Well, he was always bad on security. Really? Then why did you appoint him to be the director of counterterrorism if he was so bad on security? You liar.
Dude, I love watching this inferior subhuman fucking rat slowly realize how fucking stupid he is, bro. We've been saying this shit for years, bro. How are you just now realizing that Donald Trump is a liar? Of all things, bro. Like he's a pedophile, he's a warmonger, he's a fascist. You're just realizing that he's a liar? In the year of our Lord 2026, you're finally realizing Donald J. Trump is a fucking liar. I don't know why anybody fucking listens to this guy.
You utter liar and deceiver and traitor. What does that even mean? We was always bad on security. Okay, so then you should be impeached for treason. Because either every word out of your fat, disgusting mouth is a lie, or you committed treason. You appointed somebody to run the counterterrorism center that, in your own words, you had no confidence in. You thought he was always bad on security, so that's a dereliction of duty. You should be impeached. You plunge us into a war with Iran where there's a high risk of sleeper cells on U.S. soil activating.
Yeah, there's definitely a high risk of sleeper cells on U.S. soil activating. None of them are Iranian. All of them are Israeli.
Iran all the time. We're in a heightened state of security because of what has been happening. And you appoint someone that's always been bad on security to defend the homeland and run counterterrorism, okay, then you should be impeached. Or you're a liar, in which case you should also be impeached. It's too much. It's too much at this point. I've just had it up to here. I can't tolerate anymore. I'm not a stupid person.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not a dummy.
Yeah, you are.
And I'm not a sycophant either.
Yeah,
I can
you
be a
are.
very loyal person, and I understand that there is some deference that is owed to the leader of any organization, of any movement, but this is bullshit. This is insulting. This is insulting to the intelligence of every American. This is insulting to the dignity of every American soldier. You sit there in the Oval Office and you say, well, I always thought he was bad on security. Hey, dumbass, who appointed him then? Do you even think before you speak, or do you think nobody's paying attention or nobody cares? It's disgusting.
By the way, this is a grifter, okay? This is a grifter. And when it was edgy and popular to be a Nazi, that's what he was doing. And now Nick, who at least, I'll give it to him, he can at least read the fucking room. Now that he's seeing that everybody and their mother thinks that these groiper Nazi, unlovable, unfuckable fucking dorks are the absolute bottom of the barrel excuse me, bottom of the barrel, worst members of our society, he's trying to tack to the left because he sees the rise of socialism. Do not ever convince yourself that you are agreeing with Nick Fuentes. You're not. He is agreeing with you. He is agreeing with us. He is realizing that the only way to maintain relevancy moving forward in the political sphere is to abandon Donald Trump. Anybody and everybody who stays with him is going to be left in the fucking dirt like Ben Shapiro. All right. But it ain't just Nick. It's also average Americans. So here's some dumb cunt. Let's watch her.
Trump. Let's take a listen to one more woman who we spoke with.
This is in Pennsylvania.
If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You are a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
Correct. Correct. Please shut the fuck up forever. Never vote again. Like, yeah, you're a fucking idiot, bitch. And no, we will not forgive you. You should live a life of quiet shame and never admit that you ever voted for Donald Trump, let alone all 3 fucking times. All right, now we're going to move on to Donald Trump saying that he's not afraid to put boots on the ground in Iran and that he doesn't give a fuck if it turns into the next Vietnam.
Because the Iranian regime has told Sky News, if you put boots on the ground in Iran, it will be another Vietnam. Are you afraid of that?
No, I'm not afraid of, I'm really not afraid of anything.
So, he said it. He said he is not afraid of putting boots on the ground and he is not afraid of this conflict turning into another Vietnam. Now, that is a direct insinuation at invoking the draft, okay? Now we're going to listen to Caroline No Lip Levitt try to reassure us that there is, in fact, a plan to open up the Strait of Hormuz. There isn't one. And I'm going to show you we're now at the point where the Trump regime is, I'm not kidding, begging China to send warships to the Strait of Hormuz and help open it. Do you know how cucked that is? Do you understand how unbelievably cucked that is, bro? You told us that China's our #1 adversary. You're the one telling us that, like, the Chinese Communist Party is the biggest threat to American democracy, and now you're out here. By the way, they're not. But now you're out here inviting them to the most important oil route in the world to help control it. It's the fucking craziest shit I've ever heard.
That the allies seem to have rebuffed the president's request for help, and now he says he no longer needs their help.
So the question is, like, how do you explain the fact that Trump is begging for help from other world leaders to open up the strait? Meanwhile, he's also saying, I don't need any help from anybody, because that's exactly what he fucking said.
What is the plan to reopen the Strait of Hormuz quickly?
The president is going to continue to talk to our allies, both in Europe and also in the Gulf and Arab region. The United States military has a lot of capabilities, as you have seen play out over the last 18 days. And they still do have tricks up their sleeve. I won't broadcast them for the media, but rest assured there is a plan.
Okay, so there's no plan. When Caroline No Lip Levitt tells you, rest assured there is a plan, but then also does not lay out the plan. Yeah, you know what? I bet you have a plan. I bet you have the same type of plan like Trump's healthcare plan. It just doesn't fucking exist. You guys know there's already been leaks from the Situation Room that the Trump regime didn't even consider the fact that the Iranians might close the Strait of Hormuz. And it's because he surrounds himself with yes men and sycophants. If you challenge Trump in any way, shape, or form, he kicks you out of the room. He might even kick you out of the entire regime. So he's it really does remind me of Hitler, bro, because people forget that Hitler was a fucking idiot. He knew nothing about military strategy, right? And my favorite example of this is Dunkirk, right? Maybe you've seen the movie Dunkirk, all the British troops who are stuck on the fucking shore. They have no way out. The Germans are getting closer and closer. This is some Hitler level shit, right? Because Hitler, they could have sent in the Wehrmacht. They could have sent in boots on the ground and tanks to wipe out the British army, right? Sorry, my bad. Revoke what I just said. They could have sent the Luftwaffe, the Air Force, to just mow everybody down. But then Hitler wouldn't have gotten the credit for it. It would have gone to Hermann Göring, the head of the Luftwaffe. But Hitler was so stupid and he was so selfish and petty that he was like, nein, do not send the Luftwaffe because then Hermann Göring will get the credit. Send the Wehrmacht and the tank brigade because then I will get the credit. Meanwhile, the entire time they were doing that, the fucking Brits started to send civilian ships and they brought them back home. Like, this is the level of stupidity that Trump is operating in.
Working on it. I won't broadcast them for the media, but rest assured there is a plan. They're working on it. We have seen some progress with respect to that, but of course the president, again, continues to call on our allies to step up and do more.
Yeah, meanwhile, in the exact same breath, he's saying that we don't need help. All right, I got more from the demon cunt.
I'll ask one other question, leave that to others, which is very simply, can the president declare this war effort a success if the U.S. does not retrieve Iran's nuclear fuel?
Look, that's something the president has refused to comment on. It's an option on the table for him, but I'm not going to comment on it. Or
just so you guys know, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be exactly what happened in the early 2000s. We will get boots on the ground. We will probably do like a Spec Ops Halo drop into these fucking nuclear facilities at Isfahan and Natanz and all that shit. And they're not going to find weapons of mass destruction. They're not going to find enriched uranium capable of making a nuclear bomb. They're not going to find anything. It's going to be exactly what happened when we found there were no WMDs in Iraq, right? Now, here's the problem. This regime would find nothing and then fake it. They would say, they would actually provide us with something, be like, look what we found. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't really matter. They're going to lie to you regardless.
Or take it off the table. We've defined the objectives of Operation Epic Fury very clearly, which is, of course, to wipe out Iran's ballistic missile arsenal, which we have been very successful in doing.
No, you haven't. Israel is being pelted every single fucking day by Iranian ballistic missiles, inshallah, with fucking cluster munitions on it, bro. And the Iranians haven't even tapped into their Mach 4 hypersonic missiles. They sent one. As a show of force, they sent one, and they were like, watch this. And then the Israelis and us fired 10 fucking interceptors, each one at $1.6 million, so something between like $10 and $15 million. We fired 10 interceptors at one single hypersonic missile. All 10 missed. All 10 interceptors fucking missed, and that missile went barreling down into Israel like this. Like that, just fucking barreled right into Tel Aviv.
We've achieved dominance over the skies of Iran to annihilate their navy, which we have done. According to CENTCOM this morning, I received the updated numbers. More than 120 naval vessels are at the bottom of the sea because of our United States Armed Forces. That's a great thing for the American people. That's a great thing for our allies in the region. And of course, to ensure that, yes, Iran cannot permanently cannot possess a nuclear weapon is something this president has long said for decades, but I'm not going to forecast or remove any future options off the table.
Still have the ability to produce a nuclear weapon or no?
Look, again, we're in a place right now where we're ensuring that Iran can no longer threaten the United States of America, and the United States military is doing a tremendous job.
Bitch, you yourself literally posted on Twitter that Iran posed no imminent threat to the United States of America after you guys tried to queue us up for a false flag event of like an Iranian drone attack in California, and everybody and their mother, including myself, was like, nah, this is an Israeli false flag. Then you withdrew the entire fucking plan, went out and tweeted. You said, no, let me be clear, there was no imminent threat from Iran. Like, you literally, you're saying both fucking things.
At achieving these objectives.
Jesus fucking Christ. All right. Now I got a little clip here of this guy here. What the fuck is his name? This is a senator. I don't know what, Senator Cassidy.
Thank you very much, Senator. Good to
This is Fox News, by the way, so you need to understand, even Fox News is greasing up its viewers for a boots on the ground invasion.
see you this morning. Look, I want to go to something that happened last night. The GOP chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Mike McCall, said U.S. boots on the ground in Iran would be a game change and would need congressional approval. Democrat Senator Fetterman has said recently U.S. boots on the ground in Iran would be a red line. Where are you on this issue?
By the way, no, it wouldn't. For John Fetterman, no. John Fetterman says now that U.S. boots on the ground will be a red line and that he would no longer support it. Mark my words. Somebody clip this. I guarantee you, when we put boots on the ground, not if, when we put boots on the ground, and it will be an amphibious assault of Karg Island, I'm telling you right now, John Fetterman will support it, and he will say that this doesn't count as boots on the ground because it's actually just Karg Island. It's not mainland Iran. I want you to understand, this would be like if the Chinese put boots on the ground in Hawaii and then they start arguing, well, technically we're not invading the United States of America because this is just like a little fucking island off the coast. Brother, it's our territory. It's a state. It is the United States of America. Same thing with fucking Alaska. And the same applies to Karg Island. That is Iranian territory. You put boots on the ground in Karg Island, it is still putting boots on the ground in Iran.
Yeah, I think the president has been clear that he does not, put it this way, the president does not want forever wars. He has said that very clearly.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And the entirety of the military-industrial complex relies on forever wars in order to maintain their profit margins. What do you think? Do you think that these Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, do you think they only make like a handful of bombs every year because that's how many we're going to use? No, they make these bombs and weapons in mass, knowing that we're going to have forever wars, and they'll use this surplus of weaponry for like 20 fucking years. Meanwhile, all the money that these military industrial complex companies make off of that weaponry, they'll use that to create the future tech. It's a never-ending fucking cycle. Our economy literally relies on war, whether we be fighting in it or not. Either we fight or we arm people who are fighting. We'll even arm both fucking sides. We don't give a shit.
The ground suggests to the American people that it is the beginning of a war like we had in Iraq and Afghanistan. So I think the president has to come to the American people and make a real case if he wants to do something along those lines.
No, he doesn't have to make a case at all. He is the Führer. He does not respect Congress. He does not respect the Supreme Court. He does not give a fuck about what the American people want.
To get that uranium out, that's why they've said that they would put boots on the ground, because you want to be able to get to that uranium.
Yeah, so getting to that uranium may require like a lot of boots on the ground. And now you're starting to talk about a lot of casualties. I'm not sure the president has made the case convincingly to the American people. He needs to do that.
Senator, it's great to have.
Well, also, listen, like there's the whole idea of manufacturing consent, right? Manufactured consent is necessary for all military operations, even if it is like a completely justified war, right? Like World War II, the United States joining in World War II was justified, but even that needed manufactured consent. We had to convince the American people to support that shit. We had to convince them to buy war bonds. We had to convince them to send their boys and girls to go fight and die, right? Trump is such a narcissist. He's so selfish. He's such a fascist that he doesn't even give a fuck about manufactured consent. He's like, so we're going to war and you're gonna like it. He doesn't give a fuck. You know, in the early 2000s, they spent years after 9/11 manufacturing consent and greasing up the American people so that they'd be ready to support the invasion of Iraq. They spent years doing that, and it worked. It fucking worked. It ain't gonna fucking work this time, Donnie boy. All right, this clip is fucking insane, bro. This is one of the Trump loyalists here. I forgot exactly what job he has within the regime, but he is a member of the Trump regime. This is him quite literally. I'm not kidding. He's gonna say, this war will affect the average consumer, but that is the least of our concerns right now. That's you. That's me. He's saying, yes, this war is going to affect the average American, but we don't give a fuck. I'm not kidding. He's going to say that.
But the fact is that the U.S. economy is fundamentally sound, and that if it were to be extended, it wouldn't really disrupt the U.S. economy very much at all. It would hurt consumers, and we'd have to think about, you know, if that continued, what we would have to do about that. But that's like really the last of our concerns right now, because we're very confident that this thing is going ahead of schedule.
Said it will definitely affect consumers, but that's the least of our concerns right now, bro. Like, listen, I don't understand how anybody can vote Republican without being mentally disabled. You have to be like so cucked. You have to be straight up slave-minded goy cattle in order to vote Republican. They are just agents of fucking Israel. They are warmongering fascists who are willing to bring about Armageddon so that Jesus Christ can return. Like, it's the most pathetic cucked shit on earth. All right. So here's Trump saying that here's the thing, guys, you're about to be a little bit confused here. Trump said that he spoke to a certain president who actually likes the war in Iran. A past president says, I wish I did it, but they didn't do it. I'm not kidding. I believe him. I believe him. But you got to remember, there's only so many presidents to choose from where it says, I wish I did it, right? So there's only so many living presidents. There's Joe Biden, there's Barack Obama, and there's George W. Bush and Donald Trump. That's it. Oh, and Bill Clinton, right? I believe him. I think that it's Bill Clinton. Because don't forget, like, Donald Trump sucked Bill Clinton's cock clean to completion. He throated it, he cupped the balls. He's gay for Clinton, right? And I guarantee you they, like, still talk and hang out. I don't think this is George W. Bush, because despite how fucking stupid George W. Bush is, he never would have started a war with Iran because he knew we would have fucking lost, okay? I don't think it's Joe Biden. I don't think he talks to Joe Biden. It's definitely not Barack Obama. Barack Obama would have never done this. In fact, when the Israelis approached Barack Obama and said, you're either going to go to war with Iran or we're going to bomb them, Barack Obama said, no, the fuck you're not. Okay, if you do that, we're going to cut all aid to the nation of Israel, right? So at least Obama stepped up a little bit when he was threatened by the Israelis.
7 years, no president was willing to do what I'm doing, and they should have done it a long time ago. It would have been a lot easier. There's no president that wanted to do it, and yet every president knew. I've spoken to a certain president, who I like, actually, a past president, former president. He said, I wish I did it. I wish I did, but they didn't do it. I'm doing it, yeah.
I genuinely believe him. You know, like, he lies so much, you can tell when he's lying. He has these tells, you know, like he plays the accordion, the invisible accordion when he starts lying. I think he's telling the fucking truth. I think that he talked to Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton was like, oh, I wish I did it.
I can't tell you that. I don't want to embarrass him. It would be very bad for his career, even though he's got no career left. Go ahead, please.
I really do believe him, actually. All right, moving on. First thing I want to point out is, why the fuck is Caroline Leavitt like duck lip trying to mog the entire American population? Like, why do you purse your fucking lips like you're a fucking goose? All right, anyway.
Caroline.
Oh, so this revolves around Joe Kent.
There was news yesterday when Joe Kent, who works...
Bro, she's... Like, dude, what is she mewing? Like, listen, for those who are watching, who are listening to this in the car, I'm mewing right now, bro. Like, that's what she fucking looks like, bro. She looks like she got hit in the face with a fucking shovel and it all got flattened.
For Tulsi Gabbard over at
Also, this looks like Pokemon evolution, right? Like what is it? What is it? Charmander and Charizard?
The DNI. A political appointee said he could no longer stay in his job. He was resigning over the...
Just stupid blonde cunts. The evolution of a stupid blonde cunt.
...on war. So he had objections. When is the last time he saw President Trump?
This is hilarious. They're trying to throw shade, like do a hit piece on Joe Kent, the former head of counterterrorism. I'd be like, well, when was the last time you even talked to Trump? Bro, they're about to be like, they never talk and he was never even at the briefings and shit. Why the fuck would you admit that? Why the fuck would you admit that?
It's been a while. It's been a while since the president has seen him here at the White House. It's been a while since he's been involved in the process of the presidential daily briefs, and he's
the head of counterterrorism. Why?
Actually present for the president's intelligence briefings. This was an individual who was not involved in any of the discussions pre-operation and throughout this operation.
But he's the head of counterterrorism, and you guys were the ones saying that there's Iranian sleepers all over the place. Why the fuck would he not be there? That's so stupid.
I think the president views it as deeply unfortunate that this individual, who the president gave the privilege of working for the administration, put out this resignation on government letterhead with many falsehoods throughout, essentially accusing the president of being manipulated by foreign governments. That's
Sweetheart, there is a vault in Tel Aviv with videos of Donald J. Trump raping children. He is absolutely being controlled by foreign agents.
It's laughable and it's insulting. President Trump has been remarkably consistent on this issue of Iran for many, many years.
Really? Like when he said, the president of the United States of America will start a war with Iran because he is so bad at negotiation. That's what he said about fucking Barack Obama.
Before he ever entered politics, he has always said Iran can never possess a nuclear weapon. So anyone who works here should be well aware of the president's intentions and his peace through strength agenda and his willingness to use the United States military to achieve peace if and when necessary, as we have seen throughout Operation Epic Fury.
Yeah, dude, because war is peace. We're achieving peace by waging war and murdering children. It's very simple. Here's Trump himself admitting that Joe Kent, that like he always thought the guy that he hired for counter-terrorism was actually a fucking bumbling idiot.
Mr. President, your director of national counterterrorism, Joe Kent, he just resigned today. He said he can't support your conflict with Iran. What's your reaction to that? And did you?
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security.
Then why the fuck did you hire him?
I didn't know him well, but I thought He seemed like a pretty nice guy.
Okay, so again, I mean, I can't fucking believe Nick Fuentes said this earlier, but there's only two options here. Either you're so fucking stupid that you hired somebody for counterterrorism that you didn't think was good at it, or you committed treason by intentionally hiring somebody who was going light on counterterrorism. It's a lose-lose situation for you, Donnie Diddles kids.
But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was...
So did Caroline No-Lip Levitt.
A threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it. And many people, many of the greatest military scholars are saying for years that presidents should have taken out Iran because they wanted a nuclear weapon. They were, if we didn't do the attack, or if, I'll go a step further, if I didn't terminate the Iran nuclear deal given to us, one of the worst deals ever made by Barack Hussein Obama. Remember when they sent Boeing 757s over there loaded with cash?
Dude, the Obama-Iranian nuclear deal was the one thing actually preventing the Iranians from creating a nuclear weapon, which, by the way, I'm about to say something a little bit controversial. They fucking should have made it. The Iranians should have made a nuclear weapon. They absolutely should have. What nations do we not fuck with? North Korea, China, Russia, even though they're our #1 adversaries. Why don't we fuck with them? They've got nukes. If you don't want Western imperialist dogmen to rape your nation, get a nuke. Doesn't even matter if you're a nation. You could be a fucking terrorist organization. You want negotiation power on the world stage? Get a fucking nuke. All right, we got more here for you. So this is on CNN here. This is Representative Pete Sessions talking about boots on the ground, but that exactly what I told you. He's saying that if we did boots on the ground amphibious assault of Karg Island, that wouldn't count as real boots on the ground. Go back to what I was telling you about Hawaii. This is like saying that if the Chinese invaded Hawaii, that's not actually invading the United States of America. And this is because, guys, this is CNN. It's very important that you understand. It doesn't matter if it's Fox News, CNN, MS Now. All mainstream media is vehemently in support of this war because they are all bought by the Zionist regime of Israel. Okay, the Zionists control both sides of the political aisle, bro. Like that's why John Fetterman is the way he is. And that's why Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are they're ideological Zionists, bro. There is one, or actually two common through lines across the Republican and Democrat Party. One is the rally around the flag effect, that when we go to war, both sides support the war, okay? Sure, there's always a couple of dissidents, right? But then the other one is never-ending, undying, ironclad support for Israel. That has infected both sides because the different Israeli lobbies, whether it be AIPAC or fucking JPAC, right? They control the United States of America. And it's not like it's a one-way relationship where we just we hate the fact that they do it. No, we love it. We love it. The Zionist apartheid regime of Israel works hand in hand with the American State Department. Our interests are the same.
Iran. The president is moving about 2,500 Marines to the region. Are you okay with putting those two troops on the ground?
I actually spoke to some media last night, and I indicated that I believe that what these 2,500 Marines of the Marine Expeditionary Force would be to probably secure the island.
Valenti Video's Vindication Hour. Bro, how long have I been telling you that we're going to do a boots on the ground amphibious assault of Karg Island? How fucking long have I been telling you? Chatter just said, wait, wasn't it 5,000? There were already 2,500 Marines. We sent an additional 2,500. So, of course, they're going to do everything they can to lower that number because they don't want to scare the American people. But they're saying the 2,500, that's an additional 2,500.
The island is not, in my opinion, boots on the ground. In combat circumstances.
It is a territory. It is Iran.
Facility.
It is Iran.
Well, I'm not going to argue that point. As a matter of fact, you're right. But what I would say.
Hey, 1 minus 1 equals 2. Well, actually, Senator, 1 minus 1 equals 0. I'm not going to argue with you there. You're right. But 1 minus 1 still equals 2. What?
Is the president has chosen not to obliterate the ability that to get oil, and I think he wants to go secure that to make sure the Iranians don't do themselves in. So I think it's probably wisdom. Is that boots on the ground? No, not like inside Iran where they're in the cities, to where we go through circumstances that we've had in the past.
Oh yeah, it doesn't count. It doesn't count if we do boots on the ground on Kog Island, because I know that's technically Iranian territory, but like it's also just a little island, you know. So if we did put boots on the ground on Kog Island, I don't think that you could really call that boots on the ground. What sort of fucking slave-minded bullshit is that? Red hat wearing MAGA troglodytes. Explain that. Explain to me how boots on the ground isn't boots on the ground. Dude, you're all fucking inferior.
Of large areas of population, combatants against us, and it is a mess. I am against what I call the mess, moving people, Marines, snipers into population areas. But
so just so you know, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, okay? Come back here when I'm right. I always fucking am. We will do the amphibious assault on Kog Island. Our troops will meet no resistance when they hit the shore in terms of the IRGC. There won't be any ground troops like with machine gun positions holding the beach like it's D-Day. Our Marines will successfully hit the beach and they will move further into the island. Once they're far enough in, the Iranians will either launch a cruise missile or a fuckload of Shahed drones at the warships that sent the amphibious assault group. That will either sink the American warship or cause it to retreat, thus abandoning those 5,000 Marines on Kog Island. They will be stranded. It will be like a hostage situation in a sense. Trump will then be backed into a corner where he has to choose. Do we go on a suicide mission to rescue those Marines? Do we bomb the fucking island and kill the Marines like the Israelis did on October 7th with the Hannibal Protocol, where they murdered their own people in mass to prevent them from being taken hostage? Or do we just leave them there forever? Those will be the options laid out by Donald Trump. I hope to God I'm wrong, but thus far, man, every prediction I've had has been correct. All right, let's see. Now we have some Fox News shit.
Look, China is a gigantic.
Oh, yeah, oh my God, yeah, this is on Fox News of them begging China to help us open up the strait.
Look, China is a gigantic, I mean, I think they're the #1 consumer of Iranian oil.
They also do not need oil the way that we do. They are leading the world in renewable energy. They have entire fucking mountainsides with solar panels. They are farming in coal, and they're using solar, and they're using wind, and they're using hydro, and they're using nuclear. Like, they are leading the charge into this new world.
And so China has a huge stake, I would think, in the outcome of the Strait of Hormuz, okay? Maybe Kog Island also, Jameson. Did anyone ever talk to them? Would they join the coalition to open the Strait of Hormuz that President Trump is trying to put together?
Would the Chinese fight alongside us, is what he's asking. Will the Chinese fight along? Would you welcome the Chinese military into the Strait of Hormuz to help control it? Yo, like, I know damn well there are, like, Republicans who are shitting their fucking pants over that. That is insane.
We haven't had any luck with NATO. That is most disappointing, and according to reports, the president...
Yes, they're Iran's ally, bro!
...rightly furious at NATO. But what about China? Might China join that coalition? They have a big stake in the outcome.
Well, I don't know if they'll join, but I agree with you. I think they they import 8 to 9% of their fossil fuels from the Gulf, and certainly from Iran.
8 to 9%. They don't give a fuck, dog. They don't give a fuck. This ain't their problem, bro. And I've said this a million times. You've seen this online. Step 1, beat China. Step 2, do nothing. Step 3, win. They don't have to do diddly fucking shit.
And they make up a large buyer of Iranian fuels. So you're right, they have a big stake in this. they have a strong interest in the war coming to a close quickly and in those straits being open. So, our hope is that they'll be cooperative. Whether that means they're part of an operation or escorts in the straits, I can't tell you, but certainly it's important to them. And it's been interesting how cautious they've been on Iran.
I know they haven't said much. I've noted this before.
Look at that fucking nussy. Look at that fucking nussy, dude. I want to yank that shit down and wear it like a fucking beanie.
A peep from the Chinese during this whole war period, which has gone so well for the U.S. and Israel.
Dude, this is state-controlled media, bro. We're literally actively losing. All right. We got more here. This is hilarious. We've reached the point now where Republicans are comparing this war to World War II.
It's been an extraordinarily successful campaign over the last couple of weeks. Our military objectives are being accomplished day after day.
Name the objectives.
It's a methodical and deliberate effort because it's a very big country with a lot of weapons. But anyone who says that we're already losing or we're in a quagmire or the president can't succeed because of the threat that Iran poses to the Hormuz right now is akin to saying Eisenhower is losing because he hadn't made it to Berlin within 2 weeks of D-Day. It's going to take some time to achieve those military objectives. But
that's the stupidest shit I've ever fucking heard.
In the end, we will have defanged the Iranian regime.
Bro, that is the stupidest shit I have ever fucking heard. Tom Cotton, you are a fucking dipshit. All right, more.
There are a number of military analysts have suggested that the only way to open up the Strait of Hormuz would be for American ground troops to get involved in the fight in Iran. If it requires that step, should the president come to Congress for authority first? And what is your personal opinion of ground troops being involved in this conflict?
So the question is pretty simple. The only way to open up the Strait of Hormuz is boots on the ground. The president needs congressional approval to put boots on the ground. Will he seek congressional approval, or is he a dictator? That is the question.
I think right now the president is well within his authority. Even if you accept war as powers as being constitutional, he has 60 days to, and I think they've had a lot of success in achieving their objectives. And I think that you will continue to see those objectives achieved. If you talk to our military leadership, our war planners, I think they're doing a masterful job of taking out most of the Iranian military capabilities, whether nuclear or conventional. The Strait of Hormuz, obviously, is an issue that we're all paying a lot of attention to. But I feel confident that the administration and those who are leading our military efforts there ultimately will be successful in getting things opened up there.
Do you think ground troops are necessary? Would you support ground troops?
I'm not ruling anything in or out. I think that's obviously a decision that ultimately...
This is so bad, bro. The fact that they're saying they can't rule it in or out is practically a guarantee. Well, just so you understand, guys, we already have boots on the ground. We already do. We have, like, fucking military advisors and CIA agents working alongside the Kurdish forces. Like, we already have boots on the ground, and they've already died. We're talking about, like, I guess what they would consider to be a full-fledged assault, a full-fledged invasion.
Our war planners have to make, but I don't believe, at least from everything I've been told, that that's something that is being contemplated. But
well, if you want to open up the Strait of Hormuz, yeah. If you want the Strait of Hormuz to always be closed, then yeah, no, don't put boots on the ground. But that would actually cripple the U.S. economy. See, this is the thing. There's no winning this. Either we put boots on the ground and Trump starts another forever war, or we don't put boots on the ground and the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. You fucked up so fucking bad. This is shit that even, like, John Bolton wouldn't have done. And he said that. John Bolton is like, he's never met a war he didn't fucking like. He literally gets fully erect at the idea of murdering civilians, right? And John Bolton was like, yeah, and I don't think that the Trump regime has, thought this through fully. This doesn't seem to work. There's a reason why no other president has gone to war with Iran. It's because we knew that they would close the Strait of Hormuz and it would fuck with the oil market. All right. Now, here's Trump saying the quiet part out loud. Listen, every accusation is actually a confession. But here is Trump admitting that they are fighting us to a standstill, to a draw, to what's the word? I forgot the word for attrition. You know, it's attrition.
And it was so inaccurate. Their reporting of the war was unbelievable. We have decimated that country. And if you watch BBC, it's almost like they're fighting us to a draw. They're not fighting us to a draw. It was very inaccurate news. It was fake news. So I'm very proud of the term fake news because it was my term. I came up with it. but it's no longer accurate. It really is. It's corrupt, fraudulent news. It really is. It's fraudulent. It's not just fake. It's beyond fake. It's really criminal what they do.
Just so you understand, the CIA is going to charge Tucker Carlson with treason, and the FCC is threatening to revoke the licenses of any news broadcasts who do not paint the war in Iran as a resounding success. Okay, this is because, like, we are North Korea. We are everything that we accuse authoritarian dictatorships of being. We do not have freedom of speech. We do not have freedom of the press. If you do not glaze Donald Trump like a fucking donut, he's going to charge you with fucking treason. All right, more here. Oh, this one's important. Listen to this.
Their potential nuclear weapon that they would have had in less than 1 month. They think 2 weeks, but in less than 1 month. And it would have been, I believe it would have been a much different world than it is right now.
So Trump says that the Iranians would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks. Meanwhile, remember this? This was right after our first bombing of Iran back in last June, when the White House literally fucking published an article saying Iran's nuclear facilities have been obliterated, and suggesting otherwise are fake news. Does the word obliterated mean different things to people? Because to me, the word obliterated means the word obliterated. It's ash, it's dust, it's cooked, it's barbecue fucking chicken, as Kyle Kalinske would say. It's gone. And now you're claiming they would have had a nuke within 2 weeks? You've been saying that the Iranians would have had a nuke within 2 weeks since 1979, bro. How many more generations have to go die in the Middle East, bro? Because you had the generation before me, you had my generation, you have the generation below me. How many generations, or does it ever fucking end? Or are we just going to keep on sending American boys and girls to the Middle East just so they can come home in fucking caskets while the Israelis dance as our buildings go down? Is that what we're going to do? Is that what we're going to fucking do? Oh, we already watched this. This was Trump talking shit about the Iran nuclear deal.
Potential.
Oh, here's him talking shit on NATO.
I call it the nuclear dust. I think NATO's making a very foolish mistake. And I've long said that, you know, I wonder whether or not NATO would ever be there for us.
We are the only nation in NATO to ever invoke Article 5 right after 9/11, which brought many of our allies to war with us in Iraq and Afghanistan. Many Brits died there. Many Canadians died there. I'm pretty sure some Germans fucking died there. Even some Koreans fucking died there, bro. We are the only nation to ever beg for help from NATO. And they showed up. What the fuck are you talking about?
So this was a great test, because we don't need them, but they should have been there.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Oh, okay. So this is some DOD shit where they're
section.
Who are they talking to? Some dumb bitch, but they're talking about putting military personnel at polling places in November. Okay, get a look at this. I'm going to increase the speed a little bit. Oh, and this is because, as I've told you before, we made videos about this, they are going to steal the midterm elections. This is not a joke. The midterm elections will be stolen. The Democrats are not doing anything to combat this, so I have genuinely abandoned hope. I do not think that we're going to win the midterm elections, even though we have the votes. Well, they're going to disenfranchise literally tens of millions of voters. I don't know if you know this, guys. If the SAVE Act passes, this is real, you can look this up. If the SAVE Act passes, and you are a married woman who took your husband's last name, you cannot vote. Look it up. Prove me wrong. If you are a married woman who took your husband's last name, you need a signed affidavit from a judge in order to vote. Okay? And also, we already have states like Kansas where trans people just cannot vote. Chatter just said the SAVE Act will not go through. Do you want to bet? What, do you have faith in Democrats? Are you an idiot? Are you out of your fucking mind? The SAVE Act is going to pass. And also, even if it didn't pass, they'll still enforce it because you're up against fascists who don't believe the rule of law applies to them.
I want to remind everybody who's listening to this that U.S. Section 592 and 593 criminalize both having troops at the polls and military interference with voting, conducting elections, or election officers. And so I'd like to ask the question that he didn't get an answer to, which is the midterms are in November. Will you collectively, representing the people who help decide where our troops are from North and South America, will you commit on the record before this committee that the Department of Defense will not deploy military personnel within sight of any polling places in November of 2026? Mr. Humeyer.
I'm not aware of any such direction that's coming, and I reserve this decision based on the president.
But sir, if the president told you to send troops to the polling places, would you do that unlawful act?
It would go through the same review process that we get from every request that comes from the White House. We have legal compliance, we have lawyers, we have.
But there is a law already established and court history that says that it is not legal to do this. So you're not willing to say.
I can't speculate on what.
In general, I keep hearing your name pronounced differently. Gio, I think. Would you commit that you will not send military troops to polling places in November?
Congresswoman, I'm aware that doing so is against the law, and I will not follow an unlawful order.
Thank you.
Thank God somebody's got a pair of balls. Just so you know, this guy's going to get fired now.
I appreciate your honesty.
Guaranteed, by the way. Guaranteed. This guy's going to General Gillet, whatever, he's going to get fucking fired.
And your lawfulness. General Donovan.
I commit to the same, Congresswoman.
Thank you. I very much appreciate those straightforward and forthwith answers, and I hope, Mr. Humire, that you take a look at the law and follow it, a lawful order.
See, this is why I always say the one little piece of hope that you can keep alive is a military coup d'etat, because these generals are far more loyal to the Constitution than they are to the pedophile in chief. All right. Last thing I want to show you guys. This is very short, but it is important. Cuba's electrical grid is completely gone. It's a complete and total collapse. All the millions of people living in Cuba are going through a blackout. They are starving to death. They are dying of thirst. They are dying of malnutrition. And this is because the United States put a blockade around the island. We won't let anything in. We are actually, I'm not joking, we are committing a genocide in Cuba right now. Okay? Got to look at this coverage from CNN.
And breaking news into CNN, Cuba's electrical grid has suffered a complete and total collapse. This is according to the country's power operator. It's the first nationwide blackout since the U.S. effectively shut off the flow of oil to Cuba.
Disgusting, bro. Your tax dollars are not only waging a war in Iran, it is also committing a genocide in Cuba. It is also waging war in Ecuador. It is also waging war all throughout the global south to encounter narco-terrorism operations. It's just so fucking disgusting. It's so fucking disgusting. All right, listen, sorry to tell you, but the President of the United States is not only a pedophile, but he's also starting World War III and threatening to remove the United States from NATO. There is no good news. Sorry. If you're here live, you stay. We're going to keep on going. If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, helps me immensely. And do me one last favor, click that video right over there. It's a banger, and I know bangers.